When Lewis Hamilton took the flag in Barcelona, he did not just win a race, he became the oldest man to win a Formula One Grand Prix since 1970, the first British driver to win in a Ferrari since 1999, and he led home the first all-British podium since 1968. So why did it take 40 races and a full season of people calling him washed up to get here? And why did this one result just blow the entire championship wide open? Barcelona, Sunday afternoon, and the Ferrari is out front. It has been out front for a while now. And if you have followed this team for the last 18 months, you know that sentence on its own is almost impossible to believe. Lewis Hamilton crosses the line nearly 20 seconds clear of the field. The radio clicks on. For about a second he says nothing. Then it comes. Grazie a tutti, Maranello. Thank you so much. You have helped me achieve this dream. That is the moment. That is the one we have been sitting around waiting for since the day he put on the red. Think about that for a second. 686 days since his last win anywhere in this sport. 40 races. A car that for most of last year would not give him the time of day. And here he is, on a Sunday in June, 66 laps done, leading a Grand Prix from the front like the last 18 months never happened. This is the single biggest day Lewis Hamilton has had in a Ferrari, and it might be the single biggest day of his entire second act. So let me tell you exactly how it happened. The qualifying lap nobody saw coming, the tyre call that should not have worked, the one moment on lap 41 that flipped the whole thing, and the championship maths that just turned a runaway title race back into a fight. Stay with me, because the way this win was actually built is better than the highlight reel. Nobody was really paying attention to Hamilton as a winner this season. That is the honest truth. After what we all watched in 2025, who would be? His first year in red was the first podiumless season of his 18-year career. He finished 6th in the championship, 86 points behind Charles Leclerc in the same car. 86. In his lowest moment, he sat in front of cameras and openly wondered out loud whether Ferrari should go and find another driver, the greatest of all time, questioning whether he still belonged. And the doubt did not melt away over the winter. It followed him into this season, race after race, every weekend another chance for somebody to say it again. He is done. He left it too late, and the whole move was a mistake. So when this season opens with Mercedes winning the first 6 races in a row, the story writes itself. And it is worth letting that Mercedes number sit for a moment, because it is the backdrop to everything. 6 wins from the first 6 rounds. The kind of start that had people reaching for comparisons to their old 2014 Super Team era, when they dominated everything in sight. Ferrari, meanwhile, was scrapping for podium scraps behind them. Hamilton picks up a P3 in China, then a P2 in Canada, then another P2 in Monaco. Back-to-back seconds, which is progress, but it is still seconds. Still the bridesmaid, still chasing that same gap to the top step that he had not closed since the summer of 2024. The narrative was set. Lewis Hamilton, the nearly man of his own comeback, and then Barcelona happened. It starts on Saturday, and honestly, this is the part that should have been the warning sign for everyone. Hamilton does not even drive in first practice. He hands the car to Ferrari's junior, Dino Beganovic, for the mandatory rookie session, sits it out, and watches. Through the practice running, he is nowhere. 3/4 of a second off, sometimes more than a second adrift, looking like a man heading for a quiet weekend in the midfield. Pay attention to this next detail, because it explains everything that follows. None of that practice pace meant a thing, because in qualifying, Lewis Hamilton finds a lap. Not just a decent lap, one of those laps. Nico Rosberg, who knows exactly what one of those laps looks like, called it one of the very, very special ones of Hamilton's entire career. He puts the Ferrari on the front row. Second on the grid. His best qualifying result in red, his first front row start since the British Grand Prix back in 2024. George Russell beats him to pole, but by how much? 0.06 of a second. The width of a coat of paint. 2 British drivers, separated by almost nothing, sitting first and second on the grid in Barcelona, with the championship leader Kimi Antonelli lining up third right behind them. And here is the detail everyone missed in the moment. Charles Leclerc, Hamilton's teammate, the man who beat him by 86 points last year, crashes in Q3. Snaps the rear coming out of the corner, brings out the red flag, and starts the race down in 10th. So the Ferrari that is on the front row, the Ferrari with a real shot at this, is Hamilton's car. For the first time all year, Hamilton is the Ferrari that matters. Now, the race. And I need you to understand the conditions, because they are punishing. Lights out, the track temperature is 50 degrees Celsius. That is 122 Fahrenheit on the tarmac, climbing toward 54 as the afternoon goes on. The air is sitting around 31. This is a track that punishes tyres on a normal day, and this is not a normal day. In heat like this, the soft tyre is supposed to be a trap. It gives you grip for a handful of laps, and then it falls off a cliff. So most of the grid lines up on the medium, playing it safe. Hamilton lines up on the soft, the aggressive call, the one that says we are not here to manage, we are here to attack. And off the line, it works. He goes with Russell at the front, the two of them pulling clear of everyone else, trading the lead of the race between two cars and leaving the rest to fight over scraps. For a while it settles into a rhythm. Russell controlling the front, Hamilton shadowing him, neither giving an inch. The calm before any of the real drama starts. And every lap Hamilton hangs onto that soft tyre is a lap he is banking grip the others spent already. Then Ferrari starts working the strategy hard. They bring Hamilton in early, lap 12, off the softs and onto the hard tyre, committing to a 3-stop race in an era where everyone wants to stop as little as possible. It is a busy, risky plan. Most of the field is trying to do this on 2 stops. 3 means an extra trip down the pit lane, an extra 20-odd seconds handed back, which means the car has to be quick enough on track to earn every bit of it back, and then some. Then comes the middle stint, and this is where you start to believe. Ferrari fits the medium, and Hamilton lights it up. He is eating into Russell's lead, lap after lap, in a car that for a year and a half could not live with a Mercedes on pace. The same team that watched him struggle through that whole first season of frustration is now watching their man reel in the race leader in real time. This decision to throw everything at the strategy seemed small when they made it. It was not. But Russell is still leading on the road, and a 3-stop only works if you can make the track position back. Hamilton needs one more stop, and a normal green flag stop would drop him right back behind the Mercedes. He needs something. A gap. A moment. Anything. On lap 41, this is where the story takes a turn nobody expected. Fernando Alonso, at his home race, in front of his own grandstands, rolls to a stop on track with a battery problem. The car has stopped for good. And the second that happens, race control throws the virtual safety car. The whole field has to slow to a delta. And in that window, when everyone is crawling and a pit stop costs you a fraction of what it normally would, Ferrari does not hesitate. They call Hamilton in. Box, the cheap stop, the free one. His engineer, Carlo Santi, is in his ear through the critical phase. And here is something almost nobody clocked about this season. That is not the same voice Hamilton had last year. He changed his race engineer over the winter, bringing Santi in for 2026, a fresh partnership still finding its feet. And on the biggest call of the year, the new guy nails it. This is the critical moment. Give everything. We have our chance. Hamilton takes the fresh hard tyres. The stop costs almost nothing because the whole field is neutralised, and he comes back out onto the track. And then Santi delivers the 3 words this entire season has been building toward. And you are in front. In front. Net leader. Fresh rubber under him and clear air ahead. From that moment, the race is his to lose, and Lewis Hamilton at the front of a Grand Prix with new tyres and something to prove does not lose it. He pulls away. 3 seconds. 5. 10. And this is the part that should not be possible after the year and a half he has had. He does not wobble. He does not invite the doubt back in. In 50-degree heat that is melting the field behind him, he just metronomes lap after lap, managing the tyres, controlling the gap, doing the one thing nobody was sure he could still do in this car. By the end, he is nearly 20 seconds up the road, and he sets the fastest lap of the race on the way for good measure. And behind him, the heat is thinning the field out. This becomes a day of survival for half the grid. 7 cars do not make the finish, and it is not just the backmarkers. His own teammate, Leclerc, who fought his way up from 10th, hits a late failure of his own and parks it. So both Ferraris had a story on this day. One broke down trying, the other made history. The car that mattered was the one in red at the very front, and it kept running when everything around it was braking. Now, I know what some of you are typing already. Lucky win. Virtual safety car gifted it. He only won because Alonso stopped. So let me hand you the receipt, and it does not come from me. It comes from the 2 team principals who had every reason to say otherwise. Fred Vasseur, Hamilton's own boss, said flat out that Lewis would have won this race without the virtual safety car. And Toto Wolff, the man running the Mercedes that finished second, the man with every incentive to call it fortunate, said Lewis was simply the quickest car out there, and that even if his Mercedes had come out in front, holding Hamilton behind would have been very tricky. When the rival team boss tells you your guy was just faster, the argument is over. The virtual safety car set up the timing. Hamilton's pace did the rest. If this breakdown is doing its job, and you want more of this kind of weekend analysis as the season goes, subscribe and stick around. We do this every race. Now let me show you why this win matters way beyond the trophy. Because while everyone was busy feeling the emotion of it, the championship table was quietly catching fire. Step back and look at the bigger board for a second. Kimi Antonelli, the teenage sensation, came into Barcelona leading the driver's title with a 66-point cushion. 66! The kind of number that makes a title race feel finished before the summer even starts. And then, with about 5 laps to go, while running second and banking another big haul of points, Antonelli's Mercedes power unit lets go. Gone. Retirement. 0 points on a day he was set to score big. Hamilton wins, takes the full 25, and Antonelli scores nothing. Do that maths. That 66-point lead is now 41. In one single afternoon, Hamilton carved 25 points out of the championship leader. He sits second now on 115 points. Russell is right there in third on 106. Leclerc, the teammate who buried him last year, is now fourth and trailing him by 40 points, with Norris fifth just behind. The whole order has reshuffled around the man everyone wrote off. And, for the first time all year, the driver at the top of this championship has a real reason to look over his shoulder. Look at the bigger constructors picture too, because it tells the same story. Mercedes still lead the way, but McLaren sit third and Red Bull have slipped to fourth, and the team climbing with real momentum right now is the one in red. A month ago, Ferrari were a podium on a good day outfit. Now they have the fastest car on a Sunday and a driver who just rediscovered how to close one out. And this is the part Mercedes cannot ignore. Antonelli's failure was not a one-off. Russell retired from the lead in Canada. Now Antonelli stops from second here. 2 terminal power unit failures in 3 races for the team that has won everything this year. Wolff called it a useless race and said straight out that you do not win championships if your cars keep stopping. Mercedes still lead the constructors' standings, 72 points clear of Ferrari, and they are still the team to beat on raw pace. But pace was never going to be Mercedes' problem. Reliability is. The cars keep stopping, and that is the one thing that quietly turns a runaway into a fight, week by week, failure by failure. So Ferrari leaves Barcelona with the win, with the fastest lap and with that gap to the front trimmed. The upgrade package they brought to this race, the revised floor, the new front wing details, did exactly what it was supposed to. It pulled their one-lap pace to within 0.06 of pole, and it transformed how the car treats its tyres in the heat. The car that could not fight all year suddenly could. The timing of all that landing in the same weekend, Hamilton finds the lap of his life is almost too perfect. Now let me come back to what this actually means for the man himself, because the record book on this one is genuinely absurd. People thought they had the full measure of where Lewis Hamilton was. They did not. This is his 106th Grand Prix win, extending a record that was already his and nobody else's. It is his first win since the Belgian Grand Prix in 2024, which means he just snapped a drought of 40 races and 686 days. At 41 years old, he becomes the oldest driver to win a Formula One race since Jack Brabham did it back in 1970, 56 years ago. That is the kind of gap that makes statisticians do a double take. And then there is the Ferrari history, which is the part that makes the hair on your arms stand up if you love this sport. He is the first British driver to win a race in a Ferrari since Eddie Irvine in 1999. Only the 5th Englishman ever to win in one in the entire history of the marque. And the podium he led home. Hamilton, then Russell, then Lando Norris, was the first all-British top 3 since the United States Grand Prix in 1968, before most of us were born. That is the company this result keeps. And it is Ferrari's first win at this circuit in 13 years. The last time a Ferrari won the Spanish Grand Prix, it was Fernando Alonso back in 2013. The same Alonso whose stranded car on lap 41 handed Hamilton the window to win it. The sport has a sense of humour sometimes. But the records are not why grown adults were getting emotional watching this. It was the radio. It was him. Listen to what he actually said, because he was not performing for anyone. Grazie a tutti, Maranello. Thank you so much. You have helped me achieve this dream, and I cannot thank you enough. Thanks to everyone pushing so hard back at home. I am so proud of you. To my family, I love you. To my fans, thank you for continuing to remind me who I am. I could not have done this without you. Thank you for reminding me who I am. Read that line again, and remember the man who, a year ago, was asking whether Ferrari should replace him. That is not a driver who just won a race. That is a driver who just got himself back. Afterwards, he talked about why this one hit different. He said he grew up watching Ferrari win, watching the screens as a kid, wondering what it would feel like to win in that car, and now he knows. He talked about a rejuvenated love for the team, about pouring himself into training over the winter, about having real input into this car for the first time. None of this was luck. He earned it the hard way, by refusing to let the worst season of his career be the final word on him. And the people around him felt it. Fred Vasseur put it down to one thing: resilience. He pointed at the tough moments, the difficult final Mercedes season, the painful first year in red, and said the remarkable thing was that Hamilton kept the same energy pouring into the project the whole way through. He never checked out, even when the results begged him to. Then there was Lando Norris, who finished third, and who has never hidden that he grew up a Hamilton fan. Norris said this win was Lewis sticking his middle finger up at every single person who doubted his future and spoke badly about him, from a rival, on the podium, on the day. That tells you what this meant to the people inside the sport, not just the ones watching it. George Russell, the man Hamilton beat to win it, called the Ferrari move a big, bold decision and said seeing it finally pay off, given the size of the gamble, was special to watch. He went further. He said Hamilton is now a real threat. Max Verstappen, who came home fourth, said winning with Ferrari for the first time is always a special moment, no matter who you are. And John Elkann, Ferrari's chairman, the man at the very top of the whole institution, sent a message calling it an emotional moment and a result that belongs to the entire team and to every Ferrari fan in the world. When the chairman, the rivals, and the man you beat are all saying the same thing, you stop arguing about whether it was deserved. So here is where it all lands. We started with a record book, the oldest winner in 56 years, the first British Ferrari winner in over 2 decades, the first all-British podium since 1968. And the real answer to why it took 40 races and a year of doubt to get here is the simplest one there is. He never stopped believing he could, even when almost everyone else did. The doubt was loud. He just outlasted it. But this is the part you actually need to watch now. That 66-point lead Antonelli was sitting on is down to 41, and Mercedes are dropping cars from the front of races. Ferrari have found pace they did not have a month ago, and Lewis Hamilton at 41 years old has just reminded the entire grid that he is not finishing his career as anyone's nearly man. He is back in this fight. The title race that looked done in May just got a new contender in June. If you want to see whether he can actually run Antonelli down from here, hit subscribe, because the next handful of races are going to decide everything, and you are going to want to be here when they do.